Are you tired of spamming multiple skills over and over? Don't you just hate when you have to push more than one button? Then we have the build for you. Introducing the Sonic Evade Spiritborn. Okay, technically you do need to push more than one button to gain some other passive effects while blasting, but for the most part, this build doesn't require too much player input, aside from spamming a single action. The basics of this build is pretty simple. Evade, that's it, you just evade a lot. When you select the Eagle Spirit as your primary in the Spirit Hall, you'll cast Storm Feathers whenever you evade. What you want to do now is solve the evade cooldown to have it available to you at all times. To do this, put points into Thunder Spike and then upgrade it to Accelerated. This will make it where you're casting Thunder Spike when you evade, proccing the Eagle Spirit Hall effect granting you Storm Feathers. Very importantly, make sure you have at least 1 point into Accelerating. This will give you an additional evade, which is necessary for becoming the Blue Blur. Next, you'll need a pair of boots that reduce the cooldown of evade whenever you attack. To further boost this capability, get a shiny Sepizantech unique staff. This will not only increase the damage of your Thunder Spike as you evade, but it'll cast 3 times, even further cooling down your evade and making monsters vulnerable. With this simple setup, you'll have infinite evade and deal tons of damage. We'll go over some of the options for other unique and legendary aspects, but here's a snippet of it in action in the pit. See? Nothing to it. Alright, what else? As far as other skills go, you don't really need to spec into anything else offensive-wise. You can take an ultimate skill to further boost your DPS if you wish. Otherwise, it's best to focus on adding some defensive layers to the build. When adding defensive skills like Armored Hide, Counterattack, and Scourge, you can tank a lot of damage and also add a bit of crowd control to help mitigate incoming damage. Mobility skills aren't too necessary for this build, considering that you'll be infinitely rolling through dungeons non-stop. Grabbing Soar, however, can be beneficial if you run into the occasional obstacle block with elites that put up walls, or maybe you just don't want to climb some stairs. Lastly, we picked Vital Strikes since we'll be making enemies vulnerable. This just increases our damage to them and heals us in the process. Let's talk about some other items that you can help set this build off. Rakonath's Wake has some great affixes that tie directly to what we're doing here moment to moment. The boots reduce evade's cooldown when attacking, increases movement speed, buffs our non-physical damage, provides resistances and cooldown reduction. Its unique explosion effect is cool, but nothing truly essential to the build. Loyalty's Mantle is great because we're matching our Spirit Hall choice. It'll buff the Spirit Hall perks as well as provide some cooldown on Eagle skills. If you don't have this, or don't really want it, we recommend another defensive layer with something like Aspect of Might, which gives you 20% damage reduction when using a basic skill. Since Evade is casting our basic skill every time, this damage reduction is basically permanent. Another legendary aspect you could go with is Redirected Force. You'll gain increased critical strike damage equal to the percentage of your block chance. This percentage is based on your personal codex level. We'll be blocking a lot since Armored Hide has 100% block chance while active. When you get into the Paragon boards, they can vary depending on your playstyle and what you're speccing into. However, there are a couple of glyphs and legendary nodes that are essential. First up is the Drive board. Since you're moving a lot, it takes no time at all to reach this passive's apex for a large damage boost. Drive is the one legendary board that seems to be necessary for this build. As for the glyphs, we picked Canny for its boost to non-physical damage, Fulminate for a lightning damage increase, Spirit for increased crit damage, Jagged Plume to increase the potency of Storm Feathers, and then Talon for buffing the damage of Eagle skills. There you have it. That's just a quick top-level view of this amazing Evade build for the Spiritborn class in Vessel of Hatred. For more build ideas and everything else Diablo 4, keep it here on IGN.